We are officially in week 4 of the college football season, and if you thought the first 3 weeks were great, if you thought the first quarter of the season was absolutely insane, well, buckle up because these next 3 weeks are going to be even crazier. We're about to enter the bulk of the conference slate for pretty much every team across the country. It's about to be time for the conference schedule to begin. And we've got some great games on deck. Handful of non-conference games, but some great games on deck for week 4. We've got 3 more top 25 matchups. Auburn, Oklahoma, Texas Tech, Utah, Illinois, Indiana. Those will greatly shape the top 25 rankings. Predictions on those 3 games are coming your way here in the next few days. We start them tomorrow. We'll do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But today, 5 games that might be flying under the radar. 5 games that could result in some sneaky upsets. 5 games that will have an impact on conference races and the rankings by the end of week 4. So let's go ahead and jump into it here at the Gridiron Expert, kicking things off in Oxford, Tulane, and number 13, Ole Miss. Now, I'll tell you right now, I'm not fully sold on Ole Miss. I think having them ranked 13th is really, really high. We have them ranked still, I think about 21st, 22nd. In our GE top 25. I don't think they are top 15 caliber right now. This was a team that was very fortunate to have won this last week against Arkansas, the best team they've played all year up until this point. They allowed Taylor Green to throw for 305 yards, rush for 115 yards. If Arkansas's defense wasn't just god-awful and didn't make every quarterback they play look like a Heisman Trophy contender, Ole Miss loses that game. Also factor in the Hogs missed 2 field goals and fumbled inside the 25-yard line with less than 2 minutes left, only down by 6. So yes, Trinidad Chambliss was phenomenal at quarterback. Goes from the D2 level to the SEC. Arkansas made him look like the best quarterback in the nation. Threw for 353 yards against the Hogs. Maybe he gets to start again against Tulane. Maybe they go back to Austin Simmons, who was banged up. But this team, to me, is not top 15 caliber. Now, Tulane, on the other hand, they could be arguably the best group of 5 team in the country right now. They're 3-0. They've already beat Northwestern by 20. They beat Duke by 7 last week, a game that was much more of a blowout than the final score indicated. Tulane was winning by 18 with 3 minutes left before Duke got some late scores. So again, they've now beaten 2 Power 4 opponents in convincing fashion. They're hoping to make it 3, and if they do, they'll skyrocket in the rankings and will be viewed as that potential playoff team from the group of 5 level. Jake Retzlaff, transferring in from BYU, has been the difference maker. 522 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, leads the team with 288 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. Ole Miss, as we mentioned, struggled defensively in a big way against Arkansas last week, who had a mobile quarterback. Will they struggle again against Tulane, who has a strong defense, arguably a better defense than Arkansas, and has a mobile quarterback of their own? This game will be closer than people think. I think it could be more high scoring than people think. But ultimately, home field advantage and Ole Miss having the better offense will give them the win. But don't be surprised to see Tulane hang around a lot longer than you'd expect. Ole Miss, though, does survive and maybe cracks our top 20 entering week 5. Number 21, Michigan at Nebraska. This, to me, is probably the most underrated game of the day. Not a top 25 matchup, although some do believe Nebraska should be ranked. This could be the game that results in the big-time upset, right? I really, really, really love what we're going to see in Lincoln. You got Michigan at 2-1, the only loss coming on the road to Oklahoma. Not going to have their head coach in Sharon Moore, still facing that 2-game suspension. We got Bryce Underwood, who struggled in his first true road start at Oklahoma. 9 for 24, 142 yards, now going into a sold-out Nebraska crowd. Not an easy place to play. I'm curious to see how he fares on the road. That's going to be a storyline now. He's looked great at home against weaker opponents, but Nebraska is not a weak opponent. Nebraska is not an easy place to play. How does he look? How does the Michigan defense look against a Nebraska offense that's really taken a step forward? They're averaging 49 points per game through 3 games. Again, 2 of them have been against really bad opponents. They're averaging 366 passing yards per game, over 178 on the ground. Dylan Raiola, over 800 yards, 8 touchdowns, no interceptions so far this year. This would be the signature win for Nebraska, right? The offense is looking good. The defense is looking good. Matt Rule in year 3, typically the year that he typically takes off with his programs, this would be the signature win, would put Nebraska back on the map, would propel them into the top 25 rankings. It feels like the perfect storm to pick the Cornhuskers, and I can't do it. Why? Number one, I'm still not sold on Nebraska's defense entirely. It's good, but they gave up 202 rushing yards to Cincinnati in their opener. They gave up over 100 rushing yards to Akron the week after that. So the rushing defense isn't all that great, and we know Michigan wants to run the football. You run well, it'll set up the pass. And I do expect Michigan to unleash Bryce Underwood a little bit more at Nebraska than maybe they did a couple weeks ago at Oklahoma. So can Nebraska stop the Michigan run? Number 2, look, Nebraska has struggled mightily under Matt Rule at home. They're 4-5 at home in Big Ten conference games. Nebraska is 4-5 at home in Big Ten conference games. They are 0-6 versus ranked opponents under Matt Rule. So 4-5 in conference games at home under Matt Rule, 0-6 versus ranked opponents under Matt Rule. That problem extends a lot further back. Nebraska has lost 27 straight games against ranked opponents. 27 ranked games that they have lost. I cannot pick Nebraska to win this game until I finally see it happen. Maybe it does happen Saturday. I think this is as good a time as any. But I can't pick the Cornhuskers to do it when they've lost 27 straight against ranked teams, when they've struggled at home in conference games, when they've yet to beat a ranked team under Matt Rule, when they've struggled to win the big games under Matt Rule. I just can't do it. This feels like the perfect storm. Maybe it is, but I go with Michigan to get the job done until proven otherwise. South Carolina, number 23, Missouri. This was shaping up to be a big top 25 matchup until Carolina got blown out at home against Vanderbilt. Here's the thing. Yes, they lost Lenore Sellers in that game, and that was obviously a huge blow early in the game. Completely derailed South Carolina's offensive strategy. But, again, I keep preaching, Lenore Sellers didn't play defense. And South Carolina really didn't have much of an answer for Vanderbilt and Diego Pavia. Vanderbilt's defense was phenomenal as well. South Carolina committing lots of turnovers throughout that game. Some would say that wouldn't have happened if Sellers had been playing. But besides the point, Carolina is in trouble whether Lenore Sellers plays or not. I picked Missouri to win this game in the preseason. I assumed in the preseason Sellers would be healthy. Maybe he does come back for this game. Whether Sellers plays or not, Missouri wins this game. Bo Perbula has been really, really good. Transfers in from Penn State, has thrown for nearly 800 yards, 7 touchdowns, only 1 interception. Ahmad Hardy has transferred in, I believe from ULM, right? 462 yards, 5 touchdowns, average 8.1 yards per carry. Missouri's got a dang good offense, guys, and Perbula, a mobile quarterback as well. Factor in, too, that Missouri's defense, and yes, I know they haven't played anybody that great, but they did play Kansas, a high-octane Kansas offense a few weeks ago. Missouri's defense has not given up more than 254 yards in a single game this year. Kansas put up 254 yards on Missouri. That's it. Despite putting up 31 points, only 254 yards. That's the most Missouri's allowed all year long. So if Missouri comes into this game at home, at night, and shuts down the run and either forces a healthy or somewhat banged up Lenore Sellers to win through the air or forces their backup to win the game through the air, the Tigers will be just fine. Factor in the revenge factor for Missouri. They lost in heartbreaking fashion the last second last year in Columbia, 34-30 to the Gamecocks. I feel very confident the Tigers will win this game, again, whether Sellers plays or not. Florida at number 4, Miami. Wrong that game day would go to this matchup. So many better games they could have gone to. Could have gone to Indiana, could have gone to Salt Lake City for Utah. I mean, there's a million different games they could have gone to rather than Florida, Miami, in a game that I think the Hurricanes win by double digits. Look, I got a lot of flack in the preseason. I think I had South Carolina and Florida both going 7-5. And I was ridiculed by both of their fan bases saying, oh no, we're going to win 9, 10, 11 games. We're going to go to the playoff. And both those fan bases were highly delusional. It was never going to happen. South Carolina's not going to make it happen. Florida certainly isn't going to make it happen. Now sitting at 1-2. I said DJ Lagway wasn't really that great. I got a lot of flack for that. I don't think great quarterbacks go on the road and throw not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 interceptions against LSU. Lagway isn't that good. He's not the answer for his Florida offense. The Florida defense did a decent job because LSU got 5 picks and couldn't move the ball. So give credit to the Florida defense, but simply put, the Gators aren't that good. I picked Miami to win this game back in the preseason, and everybody thought I was crazy for doing that. Don't think it's crazy now. Didn't think it was crazy then. Certainly not crazy now. Miami looks good. 812 passing yards already from Carson Beck. He's completing nearly 80% of his passes on the year. The defense has been phenomenal. Already has 6 sacks and 6 turnovers on the season. They're going to pressure DJ Lagway. They're going to force him into a lot of mistakes. Yes, Florida might hang around for a while thanks to their defense, but Miami has the better offense, Miami has the better defense, and Miami has the home field advantage. And we've seen what they can do with a strong home field advantage. And we've seen some decent home crowds to start the year. Big-time wins already over Notre Dame and USF. So Miami wins this game. I think they win it by at least 10 points. Florida will drop to 1-3 with Texas and Texas A&M on deck. We had the Gators at 7-5 back in the preseason. They may be praying for 7-5 by season's end. Arizona State at Baylor rounds out our top 5 games, our most underrated games. This one is underrated. It's not getting enough attention because neither of these teams are ranked, but it's a big one. 2 teams that are still very much in the hunt for a Big 12 championship because both these teams, while they've already suffered a loss, both came to SEC teams in the non-conference. Arizona State losing to Mississippi State in the final seconds, and Baylor struggling mightily at home against Auburn. But this is big for their title hopes. This is big for their playoff hopes because both these teams do have those aspirations and still are in the hunt for that. What I find most interesting about this is the weaknesses for both these teams play into the strength for their opponent. That's why this game's so intriguing to me, right? Arizona State gives up 235 passing yards per game, okay? Arizona State's giving up 235 passing yards per game. Baylor is averaging 368 passing yards per game, led by Sawyer Robertson, who's already thrown for 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. Bad Arizona State secondary, really good Baylor passing attack. On the other side, Baylor does not stop the run very well. They're giving up over 188 rushing yards per game on the year. They gave up over 300 rushing yards in the season opener to Auburn. Arizona State likes to run the ball with a mobile quarterback as well, and Sam Leavitt. They average over 230 rushing yards per game on the year. Guys like Raleek Brown, Sam Leavitt, Kanye Udo, all three of those guys have over 100 rushing yards on the season. So Baylor can't stop the run. Arizona State loves to run. Arizona State can't stop the pass. Baylor loves to pass. This has the potential to be a high-scoring game, and that was interesting because Arizona State was expected to have a strong defense. Dave Aranda and Baylor was expected to have a strong defense, especially with Aranda being that defensive-minded coach. So that has not been the case for either of these teams. I think you're going to see a lot of points on Saturday. But I'm going to go with Baylor. I'm going against what I picked in the preseason. I picked Arizona State. I'm flipping to the Bears. I like their quarterback play a lot more right now. I love this passing attack. Again, not thrilled with their defense at all. But at the end of the day, which offense do I have more confidence in making a play when it matters most? It's going to be Baylor. Home field advantage gives them that little bit of an extra edge. The Bears win a massive Big 12 showdown that people will not be talking nearly enough about. Arizona State, the reigning Big 12 champions, drops to 2-2, 0-1 in conference play. And in their next 5 games, they have to play TCU, they have to go on the road to Utah, they have to play Texas Tech, and on the road to Iowa State. 4 of their next 5 games. That's what they have to face. Brutal schedule ahead for a Sun Devils team that had playoff aspirations, but those could come to an end by the end of Saturday night in Waco. So there you have it, guys. 5 underrated games heading into week 4. These games going to be absolutely massive. Maybe a handful of upsets in there. 3 ranked versus ranked matchups, analysis on those games coming your way starting tomorrow. We are going to kick it off with Auburn at Oklahoma in the Jackson Arnold Bowl. So stay tuned for that. Lots of analysis coming your way and what is shaping up to once again be a massive weekend of college football. The first 3 weeks were insane. You haven't seen anything yet. Week 4 starts a whole new quarter of madness. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below. That includes our expert picks. We got it up here over on thegridironexpert.com, hitting over 58% of our bets already on the year. That's just through 3 weeks. We're doing really, really good over there. You don't want to miss out. One of the lowest prices in the country, some of the best picks in the country, beating out over 80% of the national handicappers now and have been doing so for the last 6 years. So if you want to win big with us, if you want to get it for a cheap price, if you want your subscription for an entire year, by the way, go sign up. The link down in the description below over on thegridironexpert.com. And once again, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on The Gridiron Expert.